All right, that was a cool little intro as always. Not gonna lie, I miss our old. Well, Matt never heard it, but we used to have this like really hype for 5 minutes, like techno music. At some point, one of the guys from Radio Rossonera, one of the like interns, made it for us, and it was absolutely incredible. But then we had to cut it short because apparently it was too long and it created technical issues. But we're never gonna forget it. We're never gonna forget it. But I already mentioned it now, guys. Welcome to the Serie A show by the Catenaccio boys. We got a very special guest today. So let me just get straight onto it and introduce our panel for today. We got to my left, Ricky. What's up, Ricky?
Hey guys. I mean, not good weeks for me, but yeah, let's have a good episode.
All right, and then bottom right corner on your screen, we got Luca Hofmeister, always donning a new shirt in his background.
Yeah. Well, I actually don't think it's been a good week for anyone on the panel today. We have four depressed people, and thankfully we don't have Amy who can gloat in our faces, but hopefully it can still be a good episode.
Hashtag kick Amy out. We're looking, by the way, applications are open for a new Interfan at Catenaccio Podcast. Do email us. But then our guest for today, everyone, welcome with a big warm welcome. Matt, I won't speak about you. I think I'll let you yourself introduce yourself and what you do. And I think, sorry, did I hear somewhere that you won an award for a podcast?
Well, first off, it's a pleasure to be on with you guys, chatting about the thing I love, calcio. I'm sure we all share that common love here. But yeah, my podcast, the State of Play Pod, was nominated for Best New Content Creator at the 2020 Football Content Awards, which was supposed to take place at Tottenham Stadium this year. Unfortunately, it didn't take place because of COVID. So we actually we won the award still, which is awesome, over some really great content creators out there. And when you see some of the other names that have taken home awards over the years, and even in just other categories, it's truly an honor to be associated with this podcast, but to also have teammates of mine, specifically Martino Puccio and my man Pep Barisha. Just shout out to them real quickly, because I feel like I have a good grasp on this sport, but when it comes to producing and pace of episodes and organizing all the back end stuff that doesn't maybe come out in the episode itself, they make me look a lot better than I actually am. So yeah, just a big shout out to them. And yeah, of course, it's just an honor to be on with you guys.
Wow, what an intro, Matt. I think we could just close it here. I'll leave you the StreamYard and you can just control it for us. We got a lot of people already saying hi and buonasera. Guys, let's just get straight into it. But wait, our Luca will be posting in the chat on Twitch all the links.
Yeah, just getting everything together.
Also appreciate Luca for this little cool graphic that he made. Catenaccio x Matt Santangelo, Milan Report, State of Play Pod, and Milan Brothers. But Catenaccio podcast, Serie A show, episode 19. Let's get right into it. So, match day 29. Here are results. Apart from the fact that most of the games were draws, which is also what they played every single game on a Saturday. I think this is a thing I don't like about Italian football, guys. The fact that there's like these national holidays and they don't play during them. I think it would be cool if they did the thing which they do in was it the Premier League, where we do like Boxing Day and stuff. Where
I think players would strike though.
Yeah, you think so?
In Italy, the players are so attached to holidays like Easter with their families. Yeah. I think it would be quite. On the other side, if you look at other sports, you have the NBA where they're playing on Christmas Day and stuff, which is incredible. But I don't think it'll happen.
I kind of wish we do. Oh yeah, by the way, Matt, tell us about how come you're well, we can see from the colors behind you that you're an AC Milan fan, but how come you live in the States and you follow Serie A so much and not any other sport? What was it that tricked you into becoming a Serie A fan?
Well, it's funny. I actually grew up a huge baseball fan, basketball fan, NFL fan, like the casual sports fan, liking all the major U.S. sports. Yeah. And somewhere in my, I would say around 11 or 12 years old, I just kind of stumbled into the World Cup. And obviously that's how a lot of people tend to get into this game. I started doing my own research, my own education background on some of the clubs and, some of the players, and something just pulled me to Milan. I became a massive Kaká fan. That's my all-time favorite player. I know everyone's going to say, what about Maldini? What about Baresi? What about some of these other guys? And all great shouts, but it's just Kaká was one of the players that kind of got me into Milan and the sport in general. So from that point forward, Milan has been my team. I've been like as diehard as you possibly can be. I go to matches in New York with some of the supporter clubs. They do a really good job. They actually get former players. They work with the Fondazione Milan to get players in to sign autographs, have this huge event where I actually did get a picture with Baresi, which was incredible to be around a player like him. So from there, it's just been a labor of love for this team. Obviously, it's been I've seen them win titles, which has been awesome. I know there's a lot of people here, you know, in the panel and even those listening who maybe are getting it a little later and they've heard about the successes of Milan in the past, but they're catching the quote unquote banter era of Milan. So they can't really, you know, enjoy the sort of what makes Milan so special and the allure and the draw of Milan itself. But that's in a nutshell, pretty much my story. I think, you know, if you can hang with Milan through this difficult spell, knowing how successful they are as a club and all the historical success in the Champions League, then you can get through anything. Like the return to the top is going to be that much more fruitful.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, if we have to, you know, Matt mentioned it. I got a picture with Baresi. If we got to flex our pictures, I got a picture with Flamini eating an ice cream. So you know. Also, I'm someone was telling me right now. It's like, oh, Matt saying he fell in love with Kaká. He says I would have been shocked if he mentioned like he fell in love with like Lapadula or something. So that's a good score from you.
Or Montari, yeah. You know, it's funny too. Real quick story. A member of the team I used to work for with a previous site. He's actually from the UK, from London, and he randomly just threw into one of our WhatsApp chats conversations a couple years ago, and he was like, "Hey guys, guess who I just ran into while like shopping for clothes?" And he just sent us a picture with him and Montari, like in shopping in London. It was just funny because it was like a peak banter era type player. Like all credit to Sully because, you know, obviously he's a true professional. What he's doing for things against combating racism and all those sorts of things is great. But it's just funny to like have those sorts of interactions with people. I'm sure you guys get a lot more than I do in the States.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I remember I saw Laxalt in the street, which is one of those players that you know you don't get super excited seeing it.
Okay, well, moving on. So match day 29. Here are the results. They are depressing for our teams, but Milan Sampdoria 1-0 draw. Ave San Siro with Teo Hernandez mistake and a Quagliarella incredible goal. But wait, Kevin 42069 who's always on our chat. We're going to be talking about Milan in just a second. It's literally the next slide. But then Atalanta just winning over Udinese 3-2. Again, Atalanta is an absolute steamroller of a team.
And my man Muriel keeps scoring. After I told him to get some new lungs, I think he listened and he.
Matt, Luca, explain to Matt what your advice for Muriel was at least.
Oh, I told. I was joking. I was saying that Muriel, like in the first half of the season, he would play his usual 45 minutes, second half, and you would always score. I told him if he can get a good set of lungs and play 90 minutes, he's one of the best strikers in the world. And now he's, well, of course, that's a bit exaggerated, but he is incredible and he keeps scoring.
Yeah, his efficiency too. I think he may have the best goals per 90 ratio. I think someone tweeted it out like a couple weeks ago, but his goals per ratio, like his efficiency is absolutely insane. And I think the fact that Milan were linked to him when he was at Lecce, if I recall, and Galliani was still the director, and everyone was like, Muriel, they don't need him. He's not a type of Milan player. You know, we don't need this guy. And I think he had some fitness issues, weight issues. So to see, of course, this come full circle and him be like a killer for Milan and some of the other teams in Serie A, it's like textbook Milan at this point, right? Like a player that they passed on now is obviously one of the more efficient players in his position.
Yeah. Moving on, Napoli scoring 4 past Crotone. Crotone put up a good fight with 3 against Napoli away, but Napoli's defense is terrible, guys. But we'll be talking about that and managers in a minute. Benevento Parma 2-2, pretty boring 4v relegation battle, but we could say important point for both. Sassuolo Roma could officially be getting out of the UCL battle. We'll be talking about that later as well. Genoa Fiorentina 1-0 draw. Honestly, it reminds me of our last match day a couple years ago where they both drew and both of them didn't get relegated. Cagliari Verona winning 2-0 away, basically sealing Cagliari's fate, but we'll be talking about relegation as well later. Lazio Spezia. We don't have Jonathan right now, but
Yeah.
Spezia, it's wrong.
No,
by the
yeah,
way.
score is wrong.
Yeah.
Lazio won 2-1 with Caicedo penalty at the end. But.
The editor, me who can't get fired because I'm the host. I usually, whenever someone gets someone wrong, I usually say, "Oh, this guy's getting fired." But I'm like,
maybe you got confused with Daniele Verte's goal. You thought that counted for
yeah.
2 cents.
How
beautiful it was.
What a goal. Torino Juventus, Ricky will disconnect now, but 2-0. And then Inter winning 1-0 with a fluky goal against Bologna. But let's get right into the nitty-gritty, guys. Milan, Kevin was talking about it as well. But let's talk about Milan. Actually, Matt, do you want to give us a bit of an overview of what happened or what didn't go well on Saturday? And then I'll introduce the other topics we'll talk about. Well, do you want to give us a recap of the game?
Yeah, the overall performance from Milan was more or less what has been going on and occurring for Milan in 2021, and pales in comparison to the success and the excitement that Milan brought to the field for most of 2020. Right? I mean, they had one of the best records in Europe's top 5 when you look at point accumulation, goals, the goal differential, all these sorts of things. But 2021 has been extremely Jekyll and Hyde of Milan. The Spezia defeat, the match against Udinese, which very much could have been a defeat had it not been for that ridiculous handball. The guy looked like he was dunking a basketball. And then you get a performance like this where Milan starts slow. It looks like it's Sampdoria's game. It's going to be one of those grinded out type of matches where it's going to take something from maybe Ibrahimovic or Hakan in the final third to get a victory here, which was at this point of the season. Like, you start counting down the games and you kind of going through your mind how many points it'll take for them to secure top 4, which is the ultimate objective. I know Benacer mentioned they're still shooting for Scudetto, but we all here know that's pretty difficult at this point. So it took them about 15 to 20 minutes to get rolling, and towards the tail end of the first half, they looked a little bit better than they did. But it's just simply not complete there. There's certain players in this squad that you're expecting a little bit more from. This is beyond the Teo Hernandez mistake, which players make mistakes. We all know that.
Yeah.
But it was the reaction, right? Because you give up a goal like that, and then Adrian Silva gets a red card, and you have about 25 to 30 minutes up a guy against Samp, which, all credit to them. I thought they played okay. I thought Ranieri did a pretty decent job structuring his side to get a result here. But come on, I think Milan, like, you're in second place, like, you haven't been to the Champions League for all these years. You got to do a little bit extra. Where's Hakan? A player who's fighting for his contract, which I know we had one of the comments up here. You're expecting those types of players to pull something a little extra in matches like this, where you maybe don't otherwise have your best performance in there. And we didn't see it. And it took a Hauger goal late for them to get something from this. But performances like this, when you see Napoli winning, you see Lazio winning, Atalanta winning, like, it's really worrisome for Milan's Champions League hopes. Yeah,
I absolutely agree with you, and I'll on my part as well. Like, think about it, guys. Samp, if it always happens at the end of the season. You got the teams who are fighting for relegation zone, and you'll say, "Oh, they came to San Siro with a knife between their teeth." Samp are playing for nothing. They're safe. They're not going to Europa League. It's not as if something is up for them. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that really pissed me off. The fact that they, even though they had nothing to play for, had more of that will, more of that, that fight to play. Then, Matt, I don't know if you know this, I'm half Turkish. So I watch Hakan play for the Turkish national team. And honestly, like, again, completely different players. Yeah. But it's not just, by the way, I hope you guys don't hear my cat outside. My cat's being really noisy. But the thing about Hakan as well, it's not just the performance on the field, it's the attitude. I see him on social media. When he's in the Turkey team, he's dancing, he's, giving out high fives. He's the man running the show on all points of view. When he's in the Milan locker rooms, it's an Instagram picture that shows it, and that's it. You just
but I guess, the social media part, I don't think that's what we should focus on. It's mainly on the pitch, right? And as Matt also mentioned, this guy's fighting for a contract, right? With very high demands. He's not asking for a renewal at, the same salary plus $1 million. He's asking for 6 million euros, and he goes onto the pitch. And I'm not saying it's only his fault, because there are poor performances by everyone, but you expect to see a bit more. You expect to see the passion of the fight of someone who wants to prove to the management that, I want to stay here and I want to be a part of the project.
100%. And can I just say something? If he gets 6-7 million, how much is Kessie meant to take? We already talked about this lately, but how much is Kessie should get 15 and a house next to the Duomo, as I always say. But apart from that, Matt, I wanted to ask you before, and then we'll get on to what I've got there on the slide. You mentioned, Benacer said that we should be pointing for the title. What have you believed, and how much do you still believe, and what do you think our expectations were this year? Like, what is going on? Are we overachieving? Like, because I personally dreamt of a Scudetto this year, and it's gone past me. But as a realist, I shouldn't have never believed in it. What do you think?
Well, I think it really depends on who you ask. I think there's a lot of fans who are so tired of falling short, being a team that finished at 7th, 8th, having those seasons where they come up just short of Champions League. Right? We had it a couple years ago where final match day, with Gattuso in charge, Milan finished 1 point out of top 4. And Inter, of course, finished top 4. And it was like you can see how much that changes the complexion of an entire project, right? Because then you can get Conte, then you can get Lukaku and all these sorts of guys. And now all of a sudden, fast forward a couple of years, and you're Inter in pole position to win a title and to be the team that ends Juventus's decade of dominance. So the margins are so fine with the competitive nature of Serie A these past couple seasons, because it's not just a Juve, Napoli, and that's really it. Like, you have 5 to 6 teams that are going to be really fighting it out for those 4 spots. So when I entered the season, I was like, you know what? Top 4. Like, I feel like the team was pretty strong. They had a good 2020. Pioli's been one of the few coaches that has provided some stability. That was my personal aim, was top 4. And then they get off to a really hot start, and I'm like, maybe it's one of those like fantasy years. Like, I've something out of a dream. Like, you're like, wow, like Milan wins a title. They not only get back into the Champions League, they're the team that beats Juve, right? Pretty much getting the title back that they were. You can ask some Milan fans, maybe robbed of with the Montari ghost goal. So when I was looking at this, I'm like, I saw some positives in this team: Ibrahimovic, Kessie, Benacer, Theo, but I saw some of the results paper over cracks, and these sorts of performances are not particularly surprising to me. It's just I expect like a little bit more of like a polished performance at this point in the season. I'm not expecting them to blow out teams, but to kind of have a little bit more grasp on what the situation is and to not let it spiral out of control. Like, if they get top 4, I don't care how they do it. I consider that being a really good, successful season. I know you said you had your aim of getting a title, and that's totally fine. You're totally right to have that as a Milan fan, because that's what our ambitions have to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like Inter, Juve, you look at some of these teams and you saw like on paper how much well-positioned they were to win the title over a Milan. So I think it's kind of a progression in the project, right? Champions League, then maybe you kind of flirt with a title. You're kind of right there. Maybe you compete, you get to a round of 16 in the Champions League. And then by a year or two, you're okay, we're the team that's competing for a title. Like, it's a three-legged race for the title.
Wow, perfect. You literally catapulted me in the next thing, which I'll start off by Luca. But the future for next year, you mentioned, Matt, perfectly Inter. Inter got the whole cycle started with Inter winning in the last second against Lazio a couple years ago with that De Vrij penalty. I'm not even going to start talking about that. But then the year after, we didn't go into the Champions League because Empoli couldn't score against Andanovic with the amount of times they shot. So it's been quite lucky, but that Champions League money, it really starts, even a mentality wise, it really starts something. And so next year, God willing, we're aiming to be in the Champions League next year. So if we're in the Champions League, that would be nice. The question is this. Apart from that, I'll ask you as well a little bonus. Does it matter that much to you guys whether we're in Champions League by 2nd place or 4th place? Because to me, if we got in by 4th place, I'll be very disappointed, because that means we went downwards. And it I think it would cancel out all that prestige we had during the season. And then the other question is, the future. What are we talking about? We got Donnarumma, who still hasn't renewed his contract. Ibra apparently is renewing this week, but we don't know. But next year, the team's gonna have some changes here and there. We still gotta pay for Tonali. Apparently, we want Tomori. So realistically, the mercato will be very aimed and could be very small because, again, we're a team which has we don't have money everywhere like some teams who don't pay their wages. No, I'm just kidding. But I had in mind these two players, guys, and then you guys just go on and whatever you want. But Vlahovic and Belotti, you guys know me, which player I am in love with of these two, but it kind of sets a philosophy thing as well. Next year, are we pointing for the Scudetto and we're going all in? Or are we still building up to become one of those teams that then dominates for a long time? Luca, I'll start off with you.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, what I'd like to say is that I think the situation between Inter's cycle and our cycle, which will bring us to the top, is very different. Because I think Inter started their cycle at a moment where Juve was completely dominating and way better than everyone else, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, I think that if we get into Champions League right away, I don't think that we're that far from Inter at the top, right? So it's not like you need 2-3 years to really catch up to them. So for that reason, then between the two players, I think you have to go with Belotti. I like Vlahovic as well, but I think with Belotti, you get a striker who's proven to score in Serie A over a long period of time, someone who is a bit more experienced. And I think with a player like that, you have a better chance of competing for the Scudetto and really, trying to win it. Because I shouldn't be saying that I was okay with Juve winning 9 in a row, but I definitely would not be okay with Inter winning 2 in a row. That's just too much. I can't handle that. And so I think just next year, you need to be ready to go straight out for the Scudetto. And I think that means getting Belotti. Then your question about finishing 2nd or 4th place, all I care about is finishing above Atalanta because I hate those guys, and I don't want to, especially with the last game of the season against them. I don't want to, lose away from home and have Gasperini jumping in our faces again.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully we finish above them. And then the other guy in the slide, Donnarumma, I don't even really have to explain this. Donnarumma, absolute necessity, not at 12 million, but you need to sign Gigio again. He's going to be the cornerstone of the project for the next 10 years. So yeah, absolutely.
Matt, I'll take your... Ricky, by the way, I'll be coming to you in a second as well. I'll be asking your opinion. He's been so good. He's just there.
He's
just like
waiting.
I'm thinking. I have many things
speak,
going through my mind. So
I would say when he will speak, it will be incredible. Like people will be standing up, throwing babies and bras at him, but he's waiting for his moment. Matt, what about you? What do you think? And how would you respond to what Luca said?
I absolutely agree with Luca on every front there. I mean, let me start with kind of left to right. With Donnarumma, he's got to be in. I understand the money is excessive, and I understand dealing with Mino Raiola is a pain. Obviously, we saw what happened in 2017, but I think it's a different situation, right? Different ownership. You kind of feel like Milan are financially more healthier. The wage bill looks a little bit better. You're not paying these sort of players that have no business being at Milan, but they're heavy earners, and they're just kind of bogging your wage bill down. The Montolivos of the world, some of these other players that, they had some decent spells, yes, but it's quite clear that Milan have really headed in a completely different direction, going for that younger mold of a player. So Donnarumma, I think, he's one of the players that I think Milan has said publicly, not publicly, but rumors have said that, it's him and Ibrahimovic they'll make exceptions with regarding the wage bill. What I mean by that is you have to establish some sort of structure and identity in your wage bill. What I mean by that is who your star cornerstone players are. Then you know who the players are kind of in the middle ground of that. And then your lower earners who are maybe under their first contract, or the Primavera players turn, first teamers. So I think when you look at it, Milan have done a better job getting into a position now where they can make an accommodation for Donnarumma. You got to understand, this guy's been with the team for 5-6 years now with top flight football, not having a consistent defense, yet still putting up ridiculous numbers. He's Italy's undisputed number 1, and he's 22. And he's one of the best top maybe 5 keepers in world football. In many ways, I think Milan could be in a position where they look at Donnarumma and they think maybe he's our Manuel Neuer type, where you don't build around a goalkeeper. But if you have a goalkeeper that's that good, that's generational, that really could kind of just make your situation regarding the goalkeeper very easy. I mean, you see what Chelsea are doing for goalkeepers. You see what Liverpool had to spend for Alisson. I'd rather keep this guy. No question about it. Ibra staying, obviously, for another year. I don't have a problem with it, provided it comes with a striker. I which in my opinion, I think Luca's right with Belotti. I think when you look at scoring 11 goals and 5 assists for a team that's so up and down year to year, years where I thought that maybe Torino was going to aim a little higher and be a Europa League team. When they had Mazzari, I thought they were doing something pretty decent with their side. I thought they had some nice players in there, but then they got rid of him, and now they have coaches coming in and out, and now they're kind of trying to fend off relegation. For him to have 11 goals and 5 assists is pretty impressive in that team. So I think,
sorry, I just wanted to add to your argument. I'll put in two stats, and then you can continue. So I've got the stats from kickers.com, .it on Belotti and Vlahovic. So Belotti he's only scored 2 penalties, and he's only missed 4 big chances this year. Yeah. On the other hand, Vlahovic has more goals, but he's missed 12 big chances, and he scored 3 penalties. But yeah, go on, Matt.
No, I mean, I think with Belotti, it's really depends on what type of position you're in. I think, when you're looking at the age profile and all of that, Vlahovic seems to fit the building a lot more than Belotti does, right? Because by all accounts, Milan have been going after U24 players. And so in that sense, yes, he checks that box off. He's young. He's got Serie A experience. You like to feel that there's some sort of good business relationships going on with Fiorentina, and they'd be in a position where they would sell a player like them, provided Milan give him a good offer. But I think looking at Belotti, they wanted Belotti 3 years ago, if I'm correct, and they put a huge offer out there for him. I think it was Niang and a ton of cash. Cairo,
Niang, the world beater Niang.
Yeah, right. Ever since that hit off the post against Barcelona, the guy is. Although, to be fair, it looks like he kind of reclaimed some form. But in any case, I think Belotti, listen, I'm not saying I wish for Torino to get relegated, but if they were to get relegated, and Belotti's in a contract year, right? He has 1 year left on his deal, and I think they're trying to get a new deal. He kind of fits. He would be cheaper than Vlahovic, which, according to what I've read, 40 million is what Comiso is asking for Vlahovic. Whereas with Gala Belotti, given age, given their position, given the fact that he has 1 year left on his contract, 20 to 25 million maybe. That's not bad, considering the fact that Milan have to Tonali, pay him, Tomori. Then you have other players that you have to address. The winger is huge. Central defense is huge. Fullback position, left. I read the comments. And then left back. Right? So there's a lot of needs to address.
Yeah.
Right. So with that being said, if you can spread out that money and get players who will have that experience, I think Belotti fits the billing a little bit more there.
Yeah. Also, Matt, I don't know about you guys and Luke as well, and Ricky will know about this, and we'll get him as well. Can I be honest? I am sick and tired of buying someone and every game being like, yeah, no, he's gonna get better. He could be a world beater. I want someone who will come on the pitch, and I already know he's a champ, and he will just do something. And also, you mentioned Raiola before. Did you guys hear about the apparent deal he offered Barca for Haaland?
Yeah.
He tweeted fake news. I don't know if we should trust him on that, but
apparently he wanted 20 mil for himself and 20 mil for his Haaland's dad, but crazy stuff.
Well, guys, Vlahovic or Belotti. I'm gonna say one thing: Vlahovic or Belotti, they're both good, but you should sign Haaland. Pretty easy.
I'll just pop to the bank and ask my dad for a loan.
I think if we signed Haaland, then what we could just give Raiola a piece of the club, because then he would really hold us hostage every time there's contract years with Donnarumma, Haaland.
Yeah. No. I was obviously just kidding, but between Vlahovic and Belotti, I think I agree with Luke and Matt that Belotti is much better for your situation and being more experienced, basically. So yeah.
Wait, let me ask you this, guys, real quick. Because it's something that I've thought a lot about myself when looking at the central defense, looking at Tomori with his option, which I know Milan are going to work with Chelsea to reduce. Romagnoli, is it a year where you potentially consider selling him? Mino Raiola is asking for $6 million a year. I know he's the captain. I understand that. But if you think you're going to pay Donnarumma what he wants, give Ibrahimovic what he wants, give all these sorts of players what they want, does Romagnoli become available to help fill other areas of need? Because right now it's Kjaer and Tomori, and even if Romagnoli does come back in the next week or two, it's still Kjaer and Tomori. And if you're a captain of Milan and you're not getting minutes over those two players, which have been very good, but Romagnoli's been here for 5-6 years already. What do you guys make of that situation?
I'll start off by just as one of 4 people in the world with a Romagnoli t-shirt.
I love him, but I'm just curious to hear what you guys think.
As one of 4 people with it, I think I get a special pass to speak about him. I'm saying all I say is this: maybe I think he's a great player. I think he's just having a down moment. But looking at it from a larger perspective, next year we're in Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
We already got to pay so much money. We want Belotti and whatnot. It's so much harder to go out and buy a player who then you can also rely on in the Champions League, who knows the environment, who knows how to play in Serie A, but could become as good for the Champions League, than to just say, you know what, Belotti, let's sit down, let's get a new contract. It's a harder
Romagnoli.
process. Yeah, I'm saying I think it's just better to.
Oh yeah, because you said Belotti. It was just.
No, I'm saying we have to pay for Belotti and stuff. Sorry, did I say Belotti?
Oh,
no, sorry. But what I meant is I
know what you're saying.
Yes, yeah. So we already have to pay all these things that Frank said. I just think it's easier to just sit down with Romagnoli, tell him, listen, we've been on a down, but we still believe in you. Let's give you a new contract. You'll be with us, and you'll be rotating. Maybe you'll start in the Champions League and whatnot. I think that is much easier than going off and buying a new defender or selling him to then replace him. I think it's just a harder process as well. He's still quite young. He's demonstrated that he's a maybe it's just because I'm probably really attached to him. But I like your.
No, I mean I agree with you, to be honest. Yeah. I think that Romagnoli, we still, at least personally, I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's been good this season, I still like him as a player. And I think he could be good next to Tomori eventually. Also because Kier, as much as I love him, he's at a certain age. So is Kier a center back for the future? Definitely not. Could you rely on him for another 2 years? Yeah, probably. If someone offers a lot of money for Romagnoli, then I say, okay, you can consider it. You can make, but that's, we paid 25 million for him. I know, of course, that over the years to get a plusvalenza, you don't require as much because of depreciation, but I don't know. I think if you get offered a 30 million or so, I don't know if I'm taking that for Romagnoli just because of what Arda said. You still need to replace him.
Yeah.
So personally, I would keep him.
That's fair.
Ricky, as the only unbiased one of the 3, let's say, what would you say? And then,
I'm going to show you guys.
We'll move on.
I'm going to show you guys just a picture Romagnoli asked me back in 2015.
You got a picture of Romagnoli? No way.
What is that?
God.
Yeah, he was there. Hey, Ricky, sorry, can we take a picture? I was like, yeah.
You're my idol growing up. I can't believe we mentioned photos of Baresi, Flamini, and Romagnoli in the same podcast. This is incredible. Go on, Ricky.
But regarding Romagnoli, I've also said that in the last episodes we discussed about this. It's a tough situation because obviously he's the captain and you can just go to him and say, we have Tomori here and just move him out. You have to also consider I said it last time, the human aspect, and it's not an easy situation since he is the captain, but I don't know. You guys have to manage it yourself.
Thank you, Ricky. Yeah. We'll ring Paolo and we'll tell him what to do. Anyway, Not a Let's Hear says, I dream of Holland in a Milan shirt every night, by the way. Well,
who doesn't?
Exactly. Who doesn't? All right, we'll finally move on to our biggest segment of the episode. Sorry, the presentation is not in presentation mode, but we'll just have to make do. So we're just going to talk about coaches, and we're going to talk about whether they're in or out, and then we're going to talk about the 4 or 5 coaches that will probably be moving next year and where they'll fit in perfectly. But guys, starting off, Antonio Conte is quite easy. I think it's got to be a definite in.
Mm-hmm. And
I think it's a definite in, even though we have to mention that our Interista in the podcast said that he was considering saying out, which to me is baffling. But
He's never liked him.
Years ago, he was close. Yeah. I know that they're going to win the title, but never him. You never know.
Yeah, you never know with Conte. Who knows? Maybe he quits 6 months into next season. Well, hopefully. I hope he does. Conte, of course, he's going to win the Scudetto.
Next up, our manager, guys. I'd like to know also from a chat as well, and then people are eventually listening to us on audio. Oh, yeah, sorry. For our audio listeners, I completely forgot. Oh yeah, by the way, someone just wrote Pioli's on fire. Pioli's on fire. I love that. But for our audio listeners, we basically got a table up, and we're gonna talk about the managers and whether we think they're in or out for next year. So the first one we just did is Antonio Conte, and we're saying he's in. Stefano Pioli, guys, I think we're all gonna agree on in. But then I'll shoot a little question, just a little to put a bit of spice on it. Is he in Milan's future as well, or are we gonna be getting an upgrade, or do you reckon he can develop with us at the same time?
I envision him as more of a transitional type of manager, somewhat in the mold of what Spalletti brought to Inter.
Yeah, I was just about to mention
manager.
Yeah.
A manager that can give you a couple years. I think I saw a stat somewhere saying that another 5 games for Pioli in charge of Milan, he'll be the highest tenured manager or longest tenured manager as far as games go since Allegri. I think will have more games under his belt than Gattuso did. So it puts things into perspective. Pioli's provided the most stability since Allegri. Allegri, listen, if Pioli's not the coach, I would love to have Allegri back, but that's another conversation. But I think he will be in. I think he gives you maybe 1 year if you get to the Champions League. Although, listen, as much as I do like him, the Champions League is a completely different animal. And I think maybe requires something else in your manager. But I'm going to say in for this.
Yeah, but I think Emiliano is not here. Sorry, Ricky. I'll just see this little thing. Emiliano said it here last time. When we were talking about Spalletti, he said with Spalletti, and I think similarly with Pioli, the floor is a bit higher, so you'll guarantee that you'll get somewhere, but the roof is quite low. So I don't think he'll make you a champion, but he'll get you to the Champions League. Sorry, Ricky, you're saying?
No, I was saying that I agree with Matt that when Pioli arrived, he was kind of the transitional manager. In fact, Luca, remember we used to talk about this when the German guy from Lipsia was, I don't remember who. Yeah, Ragnick, that he had to change also the managerial point of view. You were starting to go in that phase. Then when Pioli arrived, I think then Ibra arrived also in the January market. And that changed everything because you started playing well, and at the end of the season, he was confirmed. But I think he's more a transitional manager. I don't see him in the future of Milan. But, everything can change.
I think I agree with he's probably the Spalletti of Milan. At the same time, I hope that he can make that step up because you never know. Maybe he is a good enough manager to coach at those levels. He hasn't shown it before, but, I hope that in Champions League he can perform with us and maybe be the coach for the future. But I think realistically, we will be looking for a world-class manager after we have maybe 2 years of Champions League under our belt.
All right, then, guys, we have to move on a bit quicker because it's the Milan chat wasn't so interesting, but it really dragged on for a bit. So
Gasperini, it's easy. Yeah, you can just put him in. He's not leaving. Yeah, especially, I'll just say this quick thing. Atalanta board has shown that they prioritize Gasperini over Gomez. Over Ilicic now, there's no way that he lived.
I was just about to say, I think the fact that he's still there and Gomez is not shows where everything going. Guys, this next guy, he's got to be out. Ricky?
Okay, so
no way.
1 month ago... No, because I just want to explain that 1 month ago, I was of the idea that Pirlo should have been confirmed because, you need to give time to a manager to work and express his ideas and game. But the results are not they're not sufficient, and the football industry is obviously an industry in which it's dependent on the results, and so it's basically kind of unacceptable. Also because you carry the name of Juventus. I hope for Pirlo that in the next month he will try and turn it around. We have the Coppa Italia final, which is fundamental, and obviously Champions League fight, which now seems an issue. I hope he manages to save the situation. And I don't know. The fact that he has no experience, that's obviously a key factor. Then it's tough because if you ask me, would you like Allegri to come back? We can stay here hours to discuss about this. I've also heard Zidane. Then today I read something about Mancini. I don't know. Probably for now, I'm maybe gonna say out because the results are not enough. But I hope he managed to maybe save his spot and turn the team around. I don't know.
Enrique, if I can give my personal insight here, I think that
Yeah.
Pirlo, he's gonna be a good manager eventually. But
Yeah.
Pirlo, considering the situation Juventus is in right now, this isn't the moment where you get a Pirlo. The squad is good. You have one of the best players in the world. You come off the back of winning 9 titles in a row. Pirlo is the type of manager that you get after 2 years that you're struggling, and you say, you know what, let's just scrap it and let's start back up. You get young players, you build from the bottom. Right now, Juve still is in a position to win. So I think you need a manager who can
absolutely
compete, win the Serie A. And for that reason, I say out as well. I'm interested to see what Matt will say, though.
And probably the mistake was when we sent away Sarri and we chose him. That I remember that like a couple of weeks before he was announced manager of the first team, he was confirmed as the under 23. That was the correct pathway he should have followed. But then in football things changes, and now we're in this situation. I agree.
Well, I think Ricky cut out.
You, Luca, that probably he will eventually be a successful manager. Sure, obviously it's tough. It's tough as.
I think Pirlo. Yeah, we can hear. I think you cut out a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're saying. You think in time he can be a good manager, but maybe it's a little bit. This job is a little bit too big for him right now in the short term, which ambitions would probably make sense. I think he's out too. And this isn't to say that maybe he doesn't follow the same sort of career path or trajectory as maybe people Inzaghi did, where he took the Milan job with no experience coming from the Primavera, and then he goes to Venezia, and then he goes to Benevento, and now he looks like a pretty respectable manager. Maybe he makes that climb, that turn right back up to a more important job. So I could see him maybe following that. But then there's a part of me that when I look at the hiring of Pirlo, well, and it's no shock to anyone or surprise. Like they knew what type of manager they were getting, and they knew how much experience he had. So do you just make that that decision and just kind of, I will deal with it at the end? Or is this, like I was talking to you guys before we even went live, I think, is this more of a shift for them? Like maybe is Ronaldo out? Do they go and try to scrap the Ronaldo thing once it's maybe Inter's time right now, and they're kind of maybe going in a little bit of a different shift with their coaching, with the project, and they try and revamp things, like a reboot, if you will. So I think he is out, though. I think he is out, but I do think he has a good career ahead of him after this.
What I don't like is what he represents. What he represents to me is, now this sounds like I'm about to accuse him of something. It's just he's one of those managers, because like I looked up into this, but to become a football manager in Italy, the steps for a normal person are so hard. For a footballer, it's this easy, because apparently you need to get one license, and then, which is basically free, you don't need to do anything. And then to get the other licenses, you need X number of hours of playing time on a pitch or managing. And to get the UEFA A license, which is the one to become a manager, there's so many things you need to do. Whilst for a football player, with your career, you already fill those out. So there's certain managers we'll see here who have done so many years, like one of my favorite managers ever. I really like him, Sarri, who managed the lowest.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to mention him. Yeah. If you see the Wikipedia page, the teams he managed is like
Sacchi as well. Sacchi at the manager. By the way, guys, it's that moment of a stream. He's here, our resident Inter Milan fan. I don't know if you see him. He's got really bad connection apparently, but no, you guys can't see him. But it's a shame. I don't. Oh, there he is. There he is. He's changed the dungeon. He's changed the dungeon this time. He looks like the Undertaker when he's about to take someone down and wrestle.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can lag a bit, bro. Amy, you're like me.
Different dungeon this week.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Let's move on, guys, because we're at 44, and we only got Matt for basically an hour. But
I don't know if this is gonna be.
If it lags too much, I'll just kick you out. It's fine. I'll just kick you out if you lag too much. Next up, Gattuso. I think it depends on him getting UCL, but apparently there's a lot of bad blood between him and the president, Phil.
I think
for me, he's in. Like, if Napoli sent him away, if they sent him away, it's because he has a problem. The president, De Laurentiis, has a problem or an issue. But like, 100% in if we look at what he's doing on the pitch.
All right, we're tying 2-2. Amy, in or out? It'll take him a good 40 minutes to listen to my question.
For me, he's in.
He's
He has to
in.
be
All right, guys. He's. I want to put him like here, but I'll put him in.
No, as Ricky said, unless
Right
De
next to
Laurentiis
Pirlo, right?
ruins it.
You put him next to Pirlo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Unless De Laurentiis, has a personal issue with him, then he should be in. He deserves it.
All right. Next time, guys. Paulo Fonseca. I love what user sent. Cheers, boy. Okay.
Fonseca out.
Fonseca.
Unpopular opinion. For me, he's in.
And
I think I personally think he should be in.
so
I
do I.
personally
Okay,
think he should be
well
in.
then mine's the unpopular opinion.
It looks like, yeah.
I think Roma fans would be a bit ungrateful if they wanted to kick him out.
They haven't beat any of the. Sorry.
Big teams. Yeah, go for it.
Big teams.
They haven't beat any of the good teams, and they struggle to beat the small teams now. Like what they were good at the beginning of the season isn't even consistent now. So I don't think you're the worst team of the big ones. So I don't think you can stay.
All right, should we put him in the middle, guys? Should he be the guy? Because I think it depends a lot on Europa League. Because if he doesn't even win the Europa League, it's not. There's no Champions League next year.
I think it's a lot's going to come down to. I mean, they got new ownership with Friedkin. I think Friedkin would be a manager where they say, "Hey, look, Fonseca, like they haven't spent a ton of money for their coaches, because of financial fair play, selling players in and out." Dzeko's probably going to leave, but you have some players in Mkhitaryan in that squad. You have players in certain positions where I think they have a nice little spine there. So I think if they have that conversation with Fonseca saying, hey, look, like this is where our direction is, like we believe in you, I think that's the sort of conversation that'll come with Fonseca. But I'm of the belief that I think he deserves a little bit more time and a little bit more patience, because I think in matches, yes, where they've maybe, to your point, his record against top 6 sides, I think it's been obviously very suspect. But I think overall, I think he's established a pretty decent identity with that team, and he's not really been back all that much on the market in comparison to some of the other managers that we're discussing here.
Mm-hmm. I think Fonseca also depends. I'll just say one quick thing.
Yeah.
If you can get Allegri, then out.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're not able to get Allegri, then
Oh no, please!
Sorry.
Matt, I don't know if
Sarri, I would say yes. Spalletti, I would say no, just because I think the fans have a terrible relationship with him after the Totti situation.
I was watching there's a new series in Italy, like a TV series on the Totti.
Terrible,
Spalletti.
absolutely terrible.
I think it's not that bad. I think it's much deeper than you think, Luca. We'll talk about that later. But and it's about Totti Spalletti, and it's kind of comical, and Spalletti is a villain. And honestly, I just remembered how much I really don't like that bald guy, and especially when he was injured. Yeah, not because he's bald, by the way. Disclaimer, not because he's bald. It's because of him. All right, guys, let's move on. Inzaghi. Oh, it's a shame Jonathan's not here, but I think he's in. I think he's one of those. He was one of those managers that will just stay for a long. By the way, Amy left us. He's going to refresh, but he's one of those managers that has stayed there for a long time. With the squad he has, I think he can't do much better. If he gets Champions League again, he got really unlucky with Champions League. Sorry that he got knocked out by Bayern, but I think the match against Dortmund was incredible. I think he's got a good team to work on. It's just a shame that the president is that president. But apart from that, I think he's in. Can we all agree?
Yeah,
I agree.
All right.
Yep.
Next up, Juric. Incredible, guys. I think there's not much.
Yep.
I think in, and we're going to be talking about him just a second. I think you'll probably be moving on to a better club. Then the Zerbi, I think we were talking about this. He started off really well, and we were all hyping it up, and then he just got to a plateau. I think he's in, but
I think he's in, but I think I think Sassuolo obviously want to keep him at all costs. I think he signed a new deal too to stay on for another year or two. But I think he's in many ways in that contention for the Roma job if they move away from Fonseca. I just think that he would be a nice little fit for them too. I think he's earned or he's done enough to show me that maybe he's worthy of the next step.
Yeah, I would like to see him in a, let's say, big club. So
little sneak peek about what we're just about to do for our fans.
There you go.
The Derby is down there.
The Derby. Ranieri, guys, I think we can all agree he's perfect for Samp. No upgrade, no down. I think he's just perfect.
Yeah.
Mihajlovic, Bologna, again, it's kind of one of those vibes. I think there should be a manager that knows how to utilize youngsters better for a team like Bologna, but I think he's pretty good there.
Yeah, he's similar to Ranieri. They do their job, take the result home, and It's if you don't want to risk going down or yeah.
All right, and then we got Gotti. I think is perfect for Udinese. I think though, with the potential Udinese has, a manager like Gotti is not enough. So I'd put him in the middle, if to be fair, because if they want to upgrade, I think he should be out. But with the team he has, he should be doing much better. I think he should be.
Yeah, I think Udinese, they have a good team, and also one thing which I think isn't appreciated that much is that they were one of the clubs to build a new stadium in Italy. You know, there's not a lot of clubs who have done it, and I think that showed that they're a club who wants to grow and has serious intention of being a staple in Serie A. So, but I think they need to actually show that now, because they built a new stadium. They have some good players, but they're never actually competing for the top half of the table. So I think maybe get a better manager.
I think
I would say out.
I would with Udinese in general. I think Pozzo needs to. It's funny because when he got Watford, I was like, you've kind of seen like now you're splitting your hairs a bit. But years ago, like they were a team that was third, fourth, like at the beginning of the past decade. You know, Di Natale, Sanchez, Handanovic, Quadrado, like they had some really nice players.
Yeah.
Right there. So to your Luca's point, like I would like to see them be a staple. Maybe they're a team that, like Fiorentina, for instance, like maybe they make them jump up. Maybe they show a little bit more desire and ambition and they shoot for something higher, because I think year to year, they can maybe be a team that with a little bit of investment on the market, they aim for like a Europa League type contention. So I would like to see them make a push.
But wait, guys, he's back. Gab Zero is back. Simone Inzaghi has to say we can't miss the interviews in tears. He's back. This guy last time was just throwing jokes left, right, and center. He was amazing.
Roma fan? He has to be a Roma fan.
I actually don't know.
I think he's Milanista. I think he's a Milan fan. But
he's right. So we're putting Gotti out. Gotti out, but with an appreciation for him.
Yeah, not because of him. You know, sounds like what you would say in a breakup, but Udinese would say it's not you, it's me. I want to grow a bit and I want to look for something more.
Then Ballardini, the doctor, comes in with a cure for
Ballardini with like a special section.
we were mentioning how in the new Panini albums for Genoa we should have a manager and then the space for Ballardini when the manager gets sacked.
Yeah, Ballardini you can say out, but in after 3 months.
In the middle, I would put him in the middle.
He's gonna be there for Genoa for the rest of his life.
Gab Zero, sorry guys, I was watching Castiel go.
That's what I'm glancing down at. Like you guys see me glancing down at my phone and watching that same video.
Sorry, Gab, we've been on for 52 minutes. What are you rewatching? I was about to say it's a short video. How many times have you been rewatching it? God damn it! And then with our favorite hairstyle, I don't know, Matt. Have you ever seen what Iachini's hair looks like under the hat?
I haven't, no, but no cap.
Yeah,
there's a reason if he has always a cap on.
Have you already had lunch?
I have, yeah.
Okay, you're good to go. Go look up his hairline and we'll talk about it. He's out, guys, by the way. He's got to be out. If they want to
further to the right, I want him further to the right because it needs to be a statement about how
he's the only guy with the hat on in this photo.
Yeah, that it says a lot. Anyway, Inzaghi, guys, I think Inzaghi should. Yeah, I think he should stay. I think he's done a good job. He deserves it. Italiano, I think Italiano is a really good manager. If he saves Spezia, he could really become something. Nicola, I think it depends on him saving Torino or not.
Yeah, but I think like he can be the good manager for Torino.
Yeah.
Obviously, the important thing is to save.
He was the manager that he was in Crotone, and when they avoided relegation, he had the bicycle. He bicycled, right?
Yeah, do you know the story behind it?
I believe I know parts of it, but I remember he promised the guys that if they got avoided relegation, he would bike from one end to
yeah. So he's originally from Turin, and Crotone is like here in Italy. And his son died when he was younger, like a couple years before, on his bicycle. He was run over by a car, I think.
Wow.
And so in the memory of his son, he went from Crotone to Turin by bicycle, which was incredible. He was such a good guy as well. All right, guys, then these three blokes, apart from Serse Cosmi,
on the right.
What's up?
I always say
that. We have basically the height of our discussions is whether he looks more like the Thing from Fantastic Four or Thanos from this is the height of the Catenaccio podcast. But Serse Cosmi, okay, let's go away in order. Semplici, guys, I think out, because if you have
Out.
Cagliari team and you still don't get out of relegation
Yeah,
zone,
out.
you're bust, man. Man, D'Aversa as well, I think he could have done
Out.
much better. And
Yeah.
then I think he
I
should
also
be
think
removed.
that if I could just quickly mention Parma's new owner, I think he'll want to choose his own manager for a fresh season.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
he just bought the club. He probably wants to put his stamp on the team, and
Yeah.
Then
I mean,
again,
hopefully they stay
Guardiola.
up.
Then again, you know, Comiso did that with Montella. I thought they were going to get rid of him, and then he confirmed
No.
him. He had an awful start, and he should have had no business coaching that team. But I think, yeah, I agree with you. I think they need to get a fresh face in there.
Right,
Can we leave Cosme up there?
Just,
The final boss. The final boss.
oh my god. Anyway,
Yeah, leave him up there. But
yeah, I'll just leave him
he's
up.
in either way, right?
I think he's in. Like they play so much better under him as well. Okay, right, that's it. So just a little recap, and then we're gonna do this. We're gonna talk about managers. We're gonna do start, bench, sell, and then we'll let Matt go finally.
Sure.
So Serse Cosmi is in, but let me do a recap. So we got Conte, Pioli, Gasperini, Gattuso, Inzaghi, Juric, De Zerbi, Ranieri, Cosmi, Mihailovic, Inzaghi, Italiano, and Nicola in. So we're in. We're confirming for next year, and we think that we're going to be in their teams or should be in their teams next year. In the middle, on just in the middle, we have Ballardini and Fonseca, which depend on results and what the teams want to achieve. And then on the out, we have Pirlo, Gotti, Semplici, D'Aversa, and last but not least, Mr. Hairline Iacchini. It's a shame Amy is not here because Amy absolutely loves joking about that. But
I mean, if I can say just
go for it.
One last thing about Pirlo, real quick. It's kind of a shame because it's like with Sarri. You start a new. It's obvious that after Allegri wanted to start something new and it was a transition phase. But you tried with Sarri, it didn't work, so you had to start all again. And with Sarri, I think we were quite lucky to still win the Campionato. Now with Pirlo, if he is going to get sent away, it's going to be starting all over again and with a season that is a failure ultimately. So
yeah, but, okay, I am, as I always say, I'm a very big fan of Sarri. The amount of shit, but honestly, in Italy, I swear, when Sarri was Juve manager, he won the league, and I swear every morning the heads of the newspapers got together and said, "Who should we shit on today?" Sarri, every single day.
I agree.
The man, I think, does not get enough respect.
But I respect him. I thank him very much. But the main issue there was that there was not that feeling with the players, and that obviously is the main thing for a manager.
All right, well, let's get right into it, guys. So we have the 5 coaches that I think we think are potentially, well, Allegri confirmed in June he's going to start back in a team. Who knows where? But these are 5 managers we think are probably going to go. And we got 4 teams, so one of them is going to be left out. But should we start with Allegri, guys? Where do you think Allegri should go? Where do you think he will probably go, and where do you think he's best? I personally think let's describe. I won't say mine, but let's put it this way. Allegri, we all know him as a manager. Maybe he doesn't offer that perfect football. Maybe he doesn't offer that thing where players develop. You got the youngsters getting in. But one thing this guy can do is win. If he has the team for it, though, if they build the perfect team for him with winners, he can win. So which of these 4 teams do you think is best for Allegri?
I think that he is going to go to Juve, but I would like him at Roma. That's all I'm going to say.
Ricky?
Yeah, I mean, if I look at the managers you have here and the teams, Allegri to Juve. I'm not sure if I would be so happy to see him come back. I love him, maximum respect. Thank you for everything once again. But, after having tried with Pirlo, with Sarri and then Pirlo, getting Allegri back would be like kind of a failure. And so, I mean, I don't know. But if it's the only option, I mean, obviously better than Spalletti, Juric, and De Zerbi, with all respect. But yeah, so I would say Allegri to Juve.
Matt?
Initially, I was thinking there was no chance he would go back to Juve, that he would go for another opportunity, which, to Luca's point and Ricardo, I think Roma would be a nice little fit. Big city, a team that new ownership. Maybe he's a manager that can take them back up to what they were a couple of seasons ago or 4 or 5 years ago, where they were the team that would be in conversation for a top 2, top 3 finish, right? Or maybe even a title contender when they had that really good team. But I think the only way he would go back to Juve is if, one, there are some market guarantees. 2, Agnelli and him, they kind of mended everything or anything that sort of existed amongst the coach and the club. But also seeing with the Juventus project as it is, like if he's a manager that can come in and say, hey, we have Ronaldo for another year, let's give it one more shot with the core group we have, Bonucci and some of these other guys, then maybe they go that route. But I think it's unlikely he goes back to Juve, so I'm going to go Roma.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Roma is the place. It's like their team as well that could really do with someone like him. They haven't had someone like him for a while, like a real true winner. A lot of the managers have been potential winners. Di Francesco, Fonseca. At a certain point, we had Ranieri as an interim.
Roma haven't won anything in quite a long time, and he went to the Milan job. What did he do? He won. He goes to Juve. He won. So I think if you're in that sense, I think they would give him the American ownership that they have now with Friedkin. If you're investing in Allegri, you better be damn sure you're investing in that market too.
Yeah,
so it's full time to make a push here. They've been teetering too much between we're a team that's competing for top 4, and then we're just a Europa League team. Like I think they need to make a push.
I agree.
Guys, Sarri, and I'll throw it out there. I think Sarri, would be really interesting to watch at Fiorentina. Fiorentina, I think they will be like Napoli when he used to manage.
They've underachieved so much.
Yeah,
I mentioned this on Twitter too, and some people were saying, well, maybe it's the players too. Maybe it's the coach, and I argue. I'm looking at their squad. I'm like, Vlahovic, Ribery, Dragovski, nice goalkeeper, Milenkovic, Polgar. They have a nice little midfield, nice little attack. This team should not be mid-table. They shouldn't be closer to relegation than they should be to Europa League. Like there's too much in this team. So you get a coach with a nice philosophy, you establish an identity, and you get some pieces in place. Fiorentina can make that climb into being like legitimately your Europa League side.
Yeah, Sarri requires time, but when he gets it, he gets like it start when the ball starts rolling, it rolls incredibly. Guys, let's go a bit quicker because I want to do the start bench sell with Matt as well.
Yeah,
but so do we all agree Fiorentina?
Yeah.
Thank you, children. Let's go on to Spalletti. Another one, guys. I'm gonna throw it over again. Spalletti, I think, would be perfect for Fiorentina as well.
I think it's either him or Sarri for Fiorentina, because Spalletti, I don't want him back at Roma. He's not good enough for Juve, and Napoli. Napoli and Spalletti. I think that's no chance that ever happens.
No.
I think the Fiore job should be up between Spalletti and Sarri if Commisso is serious about bringing the team to that next level.
Yeah. Again, I think with Spalletti, like the year after you get him, he'll be really good and he'll achieve something, but the roof won't be there. The roof will be much lower. Sarri requires more time, and he also requires much more of a. He's like a thing we talked about. He's high maintenance. You got to build a perfect squad for him. He wants a certain type of players and whatnot. But I think I'm in love with two people right now in Italian football: Sarri and Belotti. Those are my dreams for the future. But yeah, then moving on, and then we'll have a little surprise also. Juric has been talked about that he's linked with Napoli for next year. He could be interesting, guys. What you guys think?
I feel like he. I don't know why, but I have this feeling that he wouldn't be as good like in a team like Napoli. I don't know why, just a feeling.
Yeah, I think someone like Juric with Hellas, it's a low pressure environment. You have time to build something. And also one important thing with Juric, he has a very rigid system, right? He plays his 3 at the back. Last season, he lost 10 of his starters. Next season, no problem. Something that you have to consider at big teams is that the big players often they come before the manager, right? So if Juric goes to a big team and there's a big player who doesn't fit into his system, it's not as easy as having someone at Hellas Verona who you just say, okay, I'll put him on the bench. If you have a big player, you need to start them because they're being paid the big money and the management will always back them. So Juric, I'd say stay at Hellas. Out of all the big teams, I'll say a team that's not up there. I would say maybe Lazio.
Ooh.
He could fit at Lazio just
Yeah.
because the system is kind of similar. They don't have, I don't know. Definitely not the teams up here. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, the Zerbi guys, I think out of these four,
Roma or
I think
Napoli.
Roma or Napoli. I think it's one of the two.
That
I
would
think
be
they're
nuts.
quite-
That would be nuts if Juve actually got him. They won't get him,
Yeah,
but that would
yeah.
be crazy if they
I
actually
forgot to put
like
there,
a really
guys.
young.
Literally the last thing, and then we'll move on to start bench
Yeah.
sell. Quick fire. Simone Inzaghi at Juve? Yes or no? Ricky?
No, it's a Lazio.
No.
Absolutely not.
Luca? No.
No, stays at Lazio.
Santangelo? No. Matt
Yeah,
I don't know why I called you Santangelo. Matt. All right. Move on to start bench sell. So we'll finally let Matt go to his normal life. And we'll talk about relegation battle when he's not here. But start bench sell with the CDMs playmakers of the Serie A. We got three guys: Brozovic, Benacer, and Arthur. You guys on Twitch don't see this, and you guys are listening to this on the podcast. In the background, in the StreamYard driver, is Emiliano, and he's listening to all of this. And he thinks that Brozovic is really good, and that Benacer is not that good. So I'm going to be talking about Benacer being really good and Brozovic not being that good, just to piss him off. Look, he's already typing stuff. Anyway, guys, start bench sell, Brozovic, Benacer, Arthur. These are our answers, apart from Johnny, who wasn't able to answer. But you can see that Luke and I both agree, and we put Benacer as a starter. And then Ricky and Amy both agree with Arthur as a starter. But now the real question is, Matt, you're our guest. You're the most important of our opinions. And are you going to be the prototype AC Milan fan and say Benacer? Or are you going to change it? Nah, just kidding. Obviously, we expect an explanation to your answer. Who are you going to start?
This one's very interesting for a couple of reasons. As we talked about, before we went live here, it does really depend on what the project is. So when I look at Milan, I think obviously having a young player like Benacer just makes a ton of sense. Whereas with Brozovic, he probably wouldn't fit in that well at Milan, given the kind of profile they're going after with some of their targets. But for the Inter, he's perfect. He's in his prime of his career. He's fits really well into that system. And then Arthur, I think, is just a player that has ability, but I just don't see it often enough. I don't see it consistently enough. So I'm going to go with the guy that's actually holding silverware in this. The only guy that's actually holding
That's why I put that picture as well.
You gave me, got alley-oop here. You're setting me up here. Benacer, start. I'm going to go bench Brozovic because I love the fact that he is an established veteran and he's been, in my opinion, one of the more underrated players in this Inter side the past couple of years. And then sell Arthur because I think you can actually get quite a bit back for him if you did some, given his age, given the clubs he's played for. But that's not to say I don't like him as a player. I need to see more from him.
By the way, we have a comment here. Gab0 says Brozovic and Arthur are better than Benacer and 100 other jokes you can tell yourself. I love this guy. Anyway, I as you can see, I completely agree with you there, Matt. I just want to align it. Yeah, with the decision you made. I think Brozovic is an incredible player. I'll get up the stats. Amy, if you don't lag, you can tell us something about Brozovic yourself, as you've seen him in and out and the amount of years he's played at Inter Milan. But I think Benacer, guys, don't sleep on this guy because I think this guy is going to be incredible. He's already showed that he's really good. But guys, sorry, before we move on, Matt, I think we'll finally let you go. This is not a hostage situation. We'll let you go to your normal life. And as always, we thank you so much for being here. You can find every link to Matt's State of Play podcast, AC Milan Bros, and Milan Network, or what was the other one, Matt?
Milan Reports.
Yep.
Milan Reports. Matt, thank you so much for being here, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate the conversation. Look forward to coming back soon.
And forza
Thanks,
Milan,
Matt.
as always.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks, man.
Bye, Matt. Ciao, ciao.
Bye, Matt. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, Matt. What a guest, guys. What an absolute guest. Unfortunately, we had to substitute Matt for Amy. Sucks.
Amy, sorry, we already talked about Inter, so unfortunately we won't be able to speak about about your 19th Scudetto.
Guys,
Yeah, there's not
fine,
much
it's
to
fine.
to talk about. Like, I mean,
we're at 1 minute, 1 hour 10. All I want from Amy is one comment. Just describe Brozovic to us, like his evolution from Inter. Don't give us discussion about whether Benacer is better, but just tell us about Brozovic, because I'm actually curious to know what you think.
Real quick, I think Broz is like the perfect player for us. He controls our midfield completely. Like no other player I've seen at Inter in the last 10 years, maybe. Well, no, maybe not 10 years, but 8 years, let's say, can control the
Medel.
midfield in that way. Like,
Yeah.
it's a close second. It's a close second.
Gary Medel, one thing I have to say, for centimeter to footballing ability ratio is pretty good, because
Beats Jovinko by a tiny margin.
Exactly. He's a meter 45, but
What is it? All right, guys, let's move to our other segment that we didn't go over.
can I?
But-
No.
Oh yeah, go on. Sorry.
I just want to say one thing
Wait,
about Arthur.
the fact, the way he went, can I? Oh, I was like, no, sorry, go on.
No, I just want to say one thing that maybe you guys are gonna be like, no, but I honestly think that Arthur is far better than Brozovic and Benacer. Like he's a top player. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think he can. Okay, I don't want to exaggerate. I don't want to say he can even be compared with Brozo and the Benacer, but I think he's another type of player. Obviously, then consistency, injuries are an aspect to consider, but. When I always talk about the thing of Juve needing those quality players to compete in Europe and that, bring the team's level up, I think Arthur is 100% one of those players. Coming from Barcelona, when we had the change with Pjanic, I was like, this is pretty good.
That was robbery. That was highway robbery.
Yeah, it was such a good advantage for us. And I'm just going to say, then you can argue, he passed the ball to Gajic against Benevento and he scored. And I mean, okay, sure. But also I remember
I don't think anyone... Yeah, it's one mistake.
I don't think that will be the thing that tells us Arthur is not good.
Okay, but I'm saying it because there are people that kind of argue on those little things. But I remember the game against Porto. He was coming back after a long injury. He should have played like 30 or 60 minutes. He played like 90 minutes, and the ball back there was just boom, so good.
Look at this comment from Kevin, by the way. Brozovic went from playing. Go.
With Kuzmanovic and Jonathan to Barella and Hakimi. Yeah. You don't need to say anything.
He deserves it. Yeah.
No, Ricky, if I can give my 10 cents on Arthur, I think Arthur, in terms of footballing ability, he is the best. I think there's no doubt about that. Just like talent, right? He's the best. Yeah. But if we're talking currently, has he been better than Benacer and Brozovic? No. So that's why also I didn't sell him, in mine. I think you don't sell him because he is that kind of player. It's just that currently, he's been injured. He hasn't been that good. But overall, he probably is the best player.
Yeah, the potential is like the kind of player. It's just
Yeah, I understand what you say.
I saw him I think it was the first tie we played against Barcelona in Champions League. I think 2 years ago or maybe 3 years ago. And the way he was able to control the ball in that midfield, he like fit perfectly in with Busquets. I don't know if Iniesta was still there, but still, like he just felt like a perfect Barcelona player. The thing I want to see more about him is maybe like longer passes, but I don't know if that's maybe his style of football. So that, of course, I can't force him to play like that.
But
all right, guys, let's move on to our segments because we're on 1:15, and I don't even know if we're gonna get time. But
thank you, Ale, for going back. I appreciated it.
Relegation battle, as always, guys. We didn't get to ask Matt because we didn't have time who he thought was going down. But I think from the manager in and outs, we kind of got that he meant that the three that are going down, that are last right now, are probably going to go down. Not many changes in the relegation battle zone. Still quite a close race. I think we're all going to maintain the same predictions on who's going down, guys.
Yeah, Crotone is done. Parma and Cagliari, they're risking too much.
If Parma wins against us.
Cagliari depends on Torino's game. They need to, like the game in hand they have.
Yeah, the one they need to play.
Because if they win at 5 points, they're not getting 5 points.
Right.
Benevento and Spezia, I'll just mention that, they keep surprising us and they're still a good amount of points clear from the relegation zone.
Yeah. League standings. Amy, do you want to really go quickly through it? But nothing changed really. But do you want to go super quickly through them and say if there's anything interesting to mention?
Just mention the changes maybe since.
Yeah, just do the changes.
Yep. I've been lagging a bit. Let me see. Do you still hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
hear
can
you
hear you.
perfectly. Just go for it. Just say the changes.
Do you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So going only from the changes, Atalanta overtakes Juve. Of course, Juve still has that game on Wednesday. We're finally gonna see that. Then Lazio overtakes Roma. They have 52 points, still same, a game in hand. Then Hellas overtakes Sassuolo. Again, Sassuolo, another game in hand. So this could all go back to how it was a week ago. And finally, Benevento overtakes Spezia with 30 points, and Spezia has 29.
All right, great stuff. Thank you, Amy. Guys, we got 15 minutes left. Let's quickly go through the team of the week as we always do. We'll go super duper quick, and then we'll get on to our predictions, and we will be done. Create formation. Let's go, guys. As always, free at the back. Goalkeeper. Anyone you have in mind, guys? I was gonna say Aldero for the incredible save on Kessi's goal, but apparently it wasn't a save.
No, he didn't even save it. It was a deflection.
Yeah, it was a deflection apparently.
Keepers, I don't know if there were any incredible performances.
Standout, yeah, there wasn't really standout ones. I think Sirigu had a pretty good game.
No, Sirigu.
No,
No, yeah, he had a decent game, but I mean, he conceded 2 goals. I don't know.
Two keepers had a clean sheet. That was Silvestri and
Andanovic.
Should we just put Andanovic in?
Yeah, safe option.
Nah.
If I can say,
Yeah, go.
I don't know. Handanovic didn't do anything. I don't know if he deserves.
I know, but no one else did anything, to be honest. All the keepers
Yeah.
were pretty average this game week, I think.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right, let's get to the three at the back, guys. Apparently, Bastoni had an incredible game. Amy, can you confirm that? No.
He cannot confirm.
No. Wait, Glick. Okay, I'll start with
he was
Glick.
ridiculous.
Glick because he scored.
Should have gotten an assist, but got stolen because of the keeper's
Bastoni.
save.
Bastoni.
And
Glick.
Di Lorenzo. Di Lorenzo goal and
Lorenzo.
assist.
Yeah.
All right, center of the park. Who's going in there?
Fabian Ruiz.
Without the
He didn't
space.
score. He didn't score or get an assist, but he had a great game.
Gab Zero says, Theo, he made a great assist. What a dick.
Theo, unfortunately, for the last month, I think Zoe left him, and after that, he hasn't been in his usual form.
Yeah, god damn it, Theo, just get better.
Oh, and then I want to
is-
put in.
What's up?
baby?
I just wanted to make a joke about Theo. Go ahead. I just wanted to make a joke. Go ahead.
Who'd you
No, I
guys
was saying my personal favorite player in the world. Not actually, but I
Kaká.
love him. I found Catenaccio, Antonin Barak, the Polish Kaká.
What?
He's Polish. I thought he's like, he's from the Czech Republic, isn't he?
Czech Republic. Yeah.
He is.
Man, he's
Luca,
got
what kind of
this
fan
little-
are
You're a
you?
fraud.
The fuck,
You're a
man?
fraud.
Arda, can you please kick me out of the?
Get the
This will
fuck
be a
out.
special segment on the channel.
Antonin, I apologize. I've had you in Fantacalcio for, I don't know, 3-4 years. I truly love you, and I don't know how I just messed up your nationality. I will make it up to you. I'm sorry.
Guys, other players, I'm not gonna lie.
Can
this week of Serie A
can I
wasn't
say-
that incredible. Yeah, what's up?
Right
I'd say
mid, the Chiesa, the only one in this period being
Yeah, he was good.
being there for us
True.
and showing some.
Some cojones.
Some cojones. Last player in the mix, guys. Anyone from chat wanna?
Maybe someone from Samp.
I'd say
maybe?
someone. Yeah, I wanted to say. I think Sampo. I'd say
Damsgaard.
Damsgaard. I'd say
Or
Damsgaard.
Damsgaard. Yeah, put
Although
Damsgaard.
Damsgaard
on
was
there.
ridiculous.
Candreva had a really good game.
No,
I think
they had a
Damsgaard was
good
better.
defensive game.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I think Damsgaard was better.
Damsgaard was insane. He had two or
Yeah,
three
he was
dribbles.
really
that I was like confused how it was possible.
All right, strikers. I think Luis Muriel has to be there as always, guys.
Yeah.
So the Colombian R9, the Nigerian R9.
Oh, we putting Simi
And
in.
it's-
Yeah, I think Simi deserves to be in there
yeah, he scored 2.
against Napoli as well. One of the best
scored-
defenses in the league.
Quaglia,
says-
maybe.
No,
No,
Quaglia,
Sanabria. Sanabria.
Ah.
He scored 2
Sanabria.
against Roma.
Sanabria.
Didn't want to say him.
I didn't have it in my mind. I was confused.
Right, listeners, we have as our team of week for match day, I think 29. In goal, Andanovic, Avaback, Glick, Bastoni Di Lorenzo in the middle of a park, Damsgaard, Barak, Fabian, and Chiesa. Attack, Sanabria, Muri, and Simi. This team couldn't save a
I think it
kitten.
could get. I think it would struggle to get bottom 3.
I think it would
like,
struggle. It would struggle even to get
getting
past
above
the FA
17.
regulations.
Yeah, 21st place.
All right,
Yeah,
let's get to the
exactly.
last segment, guys. We are at 1 hour 20. We'll get through this very quickly, and then we'll say goodnight to everyone. But we got our little predictions. Luca didn't put in his predictions.
I didn't know we had to.
What was that?
We'll make it live. So predictions.
New.
Each week, our host and viewers will be invited to predict the coming week Serie A results. Predictions will be recorded and points will be assigned based on their accuracy. So, Luca, you get the honor of saying all your games live. So, Spezia against Crotone, we all predicted a
Okay.
Spezia win.
Don't write them in now. I guess we'll just write them in later.
Yeah,
but
we'll write them in later.
Spezia Crotone, I'll go actually a draw. I'm gonna say 2-2.
Draw. Parma Milan,
Mhm.
guys.
Parma Milan. I hope to God we win, and that's what
I
I'm
hope
gonna
to God
predict
we
the win. I'll say 0-1, just a scrappy win.
0-1. Okay.
You're away from San Siro, so that's a guaranteed win.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
that's good
exactly.
for
So,
us. Yeah, apparently,
so
guys.
Krunic will turn back into the Bosnian Kaká.
Yeah.
And,
Correct me if I'm wrong. Milan hasn't won of a San Siro since like February.
I heard you had only 5 wins all season. At San
No
Siro.
way. We won against you guys. We won against Crotone.
But that,
We
I think that
won
was.
against-
no, we were away from home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
against
yeah, you were
Inter.
away.
Oh, sorry. So we won against Lazio. We won against Crotone. We won against Bologna. We won
Spezia.
against Spezia. That's
Uh,
one more, guys. Help me out. Help me out.
I can do a quick Google search if you want.
Yeah, do a quick Google search. I want to guess who it is. I think
Fiorentina.
Torino, and Fiorentina.
Fiorentina and Torino, yeah.
Fiorentina. So that's 6
Okay,
wins.
so
we got.
6.
At least. So there could be more. Anyway, let's get on to it then. Udinese Torino, boring ass game if you ask me, but I think Udinese is gonna thrash Torino 3-1.
Udinese Torino. I think Toro's gonna win.
Toro's
I
gonna
think
win.
that- yeah, I think that they need to get out of that relegation
Inter
zone.
Cagliari, I don't think it's a
Inter
discussion.
Cagliari 16-0.
16-0. There we go.
Verona
The
Lazio.
classic.
Verona Lazio could be a really good one, guys.
I'm gonna go 1-1.
1-0. Yeah, I predicted a Lazio win, to be honest. But
I see a
it's not-
random Caicedo goal in the 91st minute.
Mate, can we
Something like that.
officially baptize after the 89th minute as the Caicedo zone? It's not even.
Caicedo
It
time.
It has already
used to
been
be-
baptized like that.
used to be no, because it used to be called La Zona Cesarini. It's got to be Caicedo from now on.
Caicedo clock.
Guys, Inter Cagliari 0-4. Guys, I tried by Gab 0. Gab 0, what a legend. I love this guy. We should invite him to a podcast one day, honestly.
Maybe
Then-
now he's there like, no.
No. Gab 0 is actually me, by the way, guys. I'm sorry I didn't want to reveal it, but it's been me the whole time. Okay, let's move on to it. Juve Genoa, guys. Juve win. If they don't, okay, I'm setting it now. If Juve doesn't win against Genoa,
But this isn't the game that matters. It's the game midweek against Napoli.
They should lynch Pirlo.
Jesus,
They have the
Christ.
game.
Right, Amy,
Oh my God.
chill.
All games matter.
Oh,
Emiliano.
What
Oh my
the
God.
fuck? Is Renzi's English
No.
good enough? Wow.
No, but they actually said that if Pirlo doesn't get a
happening?
positive result, if he doesn't get a positive result against Napoli, then it's over for him. So that's even before the Genoa game. That's on Wednesday.
Pussy. No, just kidding.
Well, guys, what's happening? Here?
Nothing. I'm just preparing a raid because we're gonna raid someone in a minute. But
Yeah,
let's
get a grip.
let's move on. Sampdoria Napoli.
Sampdoria Napoli wins, but
Bro, if
low scoring
Sampdoria
game.
doesn't- if
1-2.
Sampdoria doesn't play well against Napoli, I'm gonna be so fucked off.
They didn't even play that well against us. We were just shit.
Do you think so? We weren't. We
Yeah,
were
it's not. It wasn't like the Spezia game that it looked like prime Barca. You
Yeah.
know, we just didn't play well.
Roma Bologna. I think it's another one where we'll find out whether Roma is officially out of a Champions League race.
4-0
You're-
Roma.
Your first shot on target was in the 8th.
I love how he has all these stats ready at hand. Like, oh yeah, your first shot on target in the 44th minute. Thanks, Amy. Thank you. Very kind. I'd like to remind all our viewers that for some reason on our group chat on WhatsApp, every time Milan's playing, there's only one person chatting about referees and situations and stuff, and it's always Emiliano Colangio. Whenever Inter plays, no one bats a.
I don't watch Inter because
I watch Inter. I watch Inter and I get depressed. But
yeah, and you always text me afterwards that you're crying.
Yeah, exactly.
And I tell you to get a grip because we can't show pain.
After 5 minutes of the Inter game, you always get a message written with Emiliano writing, "We're getting cocked by Bologna. We're gonna lose this." Shut up. You won the league. Shut up. Anyway,
okay,
let's move on.
Let's bring this to okay.
Yeah, Roma Bologna. Well, you guys predict a win. I predict a draw. Fiorentina Atalanta
4-0.
could be a very interesting one, guys. Could be a very interesting one. But Ribéry got a red card. I don't even know if that's better for Fiorentina or if that's worse, to be honest. But
Atalanta wins 1-3.
We'll predict a Atalanta win. Last but not least, I know Luca will hate that, but the Sassuolo badge is not aligned. Benevento against Sassuolo. I predict a Sassuolo win. Amy predicts a draw. Luca?
Is that Sunday at 8:45? Because if so, I'm going to the Serie A headquarters to burn the building down. It's on Monday.
It's on Monday. This stream's Monday. Yeah, this stream's
Monday. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And everyone will be watching our podcast and not Benevento Sassuolo.
Benevento Sassuolo, I think, I'll go for another draw. I'll say like 2-2.
Okay. Fantastic. Guys. These are the standings, as always. Very, very, very
no one cares. I'm first. Yeah, I'm the best.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Catenaccio Podcast, episode 19. It's been an absolute pleasure. Matt Santangelo was an absolute sport today. He was so good. Go check out all his stuff. And remember, we have our own YouTube channel, which someone's going to plug in a second. We have our own Twitter, which is like at Catenaccio Pod. You'll find us. Apart from that,
just stay live enough for me to send the Catenaccio
check
YouTube.
us out on our YouTube. We made some pro clubs videos. We opened our own Twitch channel as well, where we play some pro clubs and stuff. But yeah, we play pro clubs and we talk about football. We got our clips from our Twitch stuff all on our YouTube channel. So just look up Catenaccio Podcast on YouTube and you'll find us. Apart from that, stay tuned. Next Monday, again, we go for it. Next Monday, our guest is, and I'll tell you now, we got Carlo
Cristiano
Garganese.
Ronaldo. Ah, no, sorry.
We got Carlo Garganese next Monday, so he's going to be here. For that, thank you as always for watching. Thank you for listening. Let me say bye to my panel as always. Ricky, say bye-bye.
Ciao, buonanotte.
Ciao, buonanotte. Emiliano?
Bye, guys. Thank you for watching. Hopefully, I'll be less laggy next time.
Luca?
Bye, everyone, and sorry, Antonin.
And sorry, Antonin. As always, I've been your host for today, Ale Ardoriani. Forza Milan. And thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.